Thanksgiving week here in Boulder, and we just finished up with Coach Prime's press conference on Tuesday in the Champion Center, gearing up for this matchup against Oklahoma State. It's clear Coach Prime wants to move on from what happened at Kansas. He did have to field some questions about that, but he said he has seen what he needed to see from his team and coaching staff since Saturday's disappointing result.
Yeah, I mean, they came back, fired up. Will Shepherd said the same thing, that, you just got to flush it and come back and get ready to work, and that's all you can do. And they know that maybe the stakes are not what they want them to be at this point, but there's still that possibility. And, so, yeah, I think it sounds like he's seen what he wants to see, and that this team has responded well. And he did say, though, that one's going to take a little bit more to flush. He sort of sounded like Kyle Whittingham in some regard after that BYU game, but saying that one, maybe a little bit more to flush that one, because it's hard to forget that one, but they're going to have to, and I think they've done a good job of that.
He said they expect running back Isaiah Augustive, and they expect defensive tackle Shane Cokes and nickelback Preston Hodge back this week. Not sure on Jimmy Horn Jr. at this point. And it sounds like Amari McNeil is going to be out, as well as who else? There was another player that he mentioned. Philip Houston, who went down late in that game. That was unfortunate. So some guys back that are much needed to get back in the mix because they're such playmakers. But you see, Amari McNeil going down is a disappointing revelation, because up until this past Saturday, he was playing such fantastic football.
Yeah, he was doing a great job filling in for Shane Cokes, and I didn't see him go down. Did you?
I did not, no.
So that would surprise me when he said that. But Philip Houston, we know, Coach Prime addressed it after the game that they were fearing an ACL. He did not say what it was today, but certainly the way he was talking after the game, not a surprise that Philip Houston's not going to play this week. I imagine Khalil Benson now gets in there, but yeah, it's disappointing for those two guys. It's good to hear that Shane Cokes could be back. Isaiah Augustive, hopefully he is full strength. And Jimmy Horn, he did make the trip out to Kansas and gave it a go. Like in pregame, he put his cleats on and was going through warm-ups and tried to give it a go. On the well-off video, there's actually a point where they're showing him trying to work on some things. He goes, it's still too tight, so he's just not ready. But you'd like to see him back, because he's a guy that he's so talented. He had such a strong start to this season, and was not getting the ball as much as that you would like with him for a while. Then he gets hurt, and so it's just been kind of, I don't want to say lost season, but not the season he hoped. And so you'd love for him to have the last game of the regular season be just like the first game when he had 198 yards. And so I'm hoping for Jimmy Horn that he's healthy and ready to go.
We've seen Travis Hunter's Heisman odds even improve despite the loss out there in Kansas City, yet he is not a finalist for the Thorpe Award. Coach Prime was very vocal about it, and he kind of said, the fact that I won that, it doesn't feel special anymore, and they can have it back. Like, I don't even have the words to describe why Travis Hunter wouldn't be a finalist for that, other than they're distracted by the fact that he is so stellar on offense, which defeats kind of the purpose of the intent of that award. Focus on defensive back. If Travis was only playing cornerback, you go back to that Texas Tech game, they didn't target him once. Yeah. There has to be some respect shown for somebody that the opponent fears that much.
Yeah, and Kansas targeted him twice, and they didn't complete a pass against him. And there's a lot of games like that. I think it's like 150 yards he's given up all season. And the one touchdown, which Isaac Wilson throws one perfect ball all game, and it happens to be against Travis. So that's the only touchdown he's given up, and he's been phenomenal all year. A lot of the finalists came out today. He's there for the Bolitnikoff, for the Walter Camp, and the Bednarik, and what's the other one? The Maxwell Award. Mm-hmm. So we know he's a finalist for the Horning Award, which I'm sure he'll win again. So there's all these things, but the Thorpe is, and I think that's the one that means the most to Coach Prime, because he won it, and because DBs are so prideful and confident guys. I think that meant a lot to him to win it, and I think he truly wanted Travis to win it as well, to have both of them have that in common. They could win the Thorpe Award. Well, now that's not going to happen, and so you can see some disappointment and anger in Coach Prime today, and he should be, because Travis should be one of the three.
Yeah, I mean, we've not only covered Colorado for a very long time, we've seen really good players they've gone up against, and if somebody came up to me and said, "Who's the best player you have ever covered in person, there's no hesitation. It's Travis Hunter. So he deserves a clean sweep from those awards. Is there anybody that's even close to him? I can't think of one.
I can't think of one. And, even if there is somebody that is the winner, I can't imagine there's three guys better than Travis Hunter to where he's not one of the three finalists. So you could debate the winner, but I just didn't think it was debatable he would be a finalist. And so to hear that he was not, was really surprising. And it's funny because I think he's a better corner than receiver, although it's splitting hairs. It's like pepperoni or sausage on your pizza. And here he is. I think he's going to win the Biletnikoff. Just looking at the finalists, and as he should. And the Thorpe Award is it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, the computers say that Colorado has a 5.6% chance of winning or getting to the Big 12 championship game this week. Looking at the scenarios, it doesn't look right. This is not the position that Colorado wanted to be in when you think back to a week ago, and they controlled their own destiny. But it still seems better than 5.6% given the chaotic nature of this conference. I would put that somewhere, I don't know, personally in the 20 to 30% chance, just based on kind of the scenario that plays out. What are you feeling as far as this goes?
Yeah, I don't like their chances, obviously, but I think they're better than 5%. I think, you need obviously a couple teams to lose. I would feel fairly confident about Kansas State going into Ames and beating Iowa State. Not that it'll be easy. The other one I look at is the Territorial Cup, Arizona State, and we know Arizona hasn't had a great season, but a rivalry game like that, who knows what happens? And one of the guys that Travis is up against for the Biletnikoff is Tetro McMillan for Arizona. It would be awesome. So I bet if Travis could pick, Tetro McMillan goes out and has 300 yards receiving against Arizona State and beats them and wins the Biletnikoff because of that, and CU gets to go to the Big 12 title game. I bet you Travis would take that.
Arizona has not won enough games, I don't think, for anybody to win that major of an award, right?
I'm throwing out, right. But McMillan would need a game like that. You would love to see – look, McMillan's capable. Fafita is a good quarterback, and they've got a connection. CU fans don't like to root for Arizona in anything, but you got to root for Arizona.
Why is that, Brian?
You got to root for Arizona this week. They haven't liked Arizona since during the Pac-12 era and all that, but you got to root for Arizona this week because the other one is you need BYU. You could possibly need BYU to lose to Houston, which that seems the least likely, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted there with some stuff that's not going to hit with a lot of fans out there, but the fans that know, they know. It feels like Thanksgiving week around here, doesn't it? Yeah. Our tree that is usually full of green leaves back there is not anymore. But it's still always good to come back to Colorado whenever you've gone on a road trip. And Kansas City treated us fine outside of the game with the barbecue and going to the Negro Leagues Museum, which was an awesome experience. But I'm expecting Robert Livingston's group to really show up and make a statement on Friday morning. It was uncharacteristic. Again, they had some tackle issues very early in the season for a snippet there against Kansas State, but that has not been their MO this season. And so we'll get into our predictions later in the week, but I fully expect this Colorado team to be ready to go, especially with it being senior day.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, lots of people saying they were exposed on defense. I think when you've been pretty darn good for 10 games, one game doesn't expose you. I think it's more of an anomaly. I think it was an anomaly. We're going to find out on Friday, but I agree with you. I think that group is going to come out fired up and determined to not let that happen. I think they're going to lean on not only Robert Livingston, but Cam Sillman-Craig. I expect to be a big-time leader in that regard this week. Nikai Hill-Green, lots of those guys. Travis Hunter. I think lots of those guys are going to step up and we're not letting that happen again.
And one last thing to close out here is that Coach Prime confirmed that Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter will play in a bowl game, which, again, I think this program takes unnecessary flack for some stuff, but they do the right thing in 99.999% of cases, I feel like. And that's another example of, in this era of the transfer portal, the NFL draft, guys opting out of the bowl games, it shows real pride in the university that you play for, and that won't get the clicks like some of the controversy stuff in the offseason, but I think it's important to point that out.
Yeah, and it's not surprising when you look at Coach Prime's history. I mean, when he took the job here at Colorado, his Jackson State team still had a Celebration Bowl to play in, and he made sure, I want to finish out with these guys. I want to coach that game, and he did. So it's not surprising in that regard that he would do that. And, things could change, I guess, but at least what he's saying today, it sounds like, because he was asked about potentially the last game with these guys and said, well, we got a bowl game, and there is one more. And so that was good to hear, because I know Buff fans, there's been a lot of worry all year, like if they're not in the playoff, will we even see Travis and Shedeur in a bowl game? And it sounds like we will.
I've been trying to look at this stuff, and it seems like, there's a little bit of an outside chance at the Big 12 championship game right now. That would be a seed into the college football playoff. Yeah. Outside of that, I mean, it's Alamo Bowl or Holiday Bowl, right? I don't think they're falling below that.
I don't think they fall below that. It kind of depends on how everything falls with the Big 12 as well, because the Alamo is Pac-12 versus Big 12, and CU is still a Pac-12 team as far as bowls go. And so if the Big 12 rep is Kansas State, it's not going to be Colorado, I don't think. And so they wouldn't do a rematch. So then you go to the Holiday Bowl, and I can't imagine the Holiday Bowl passing on CU. So I can't imagine the Alamo, if they have the shot of passing on CU. But if there's that rematch, they will. But Holiday, it's not going to get past that. If it does, it's Vegas, and there's no way that Vegas passes on getting Coach Prime there. But I would guess Holiday or Alamo.
All right, one more media availability window in the regular season. You got your turkey hat on. I want to hear about your Turkey Day plans when we catch up tomorrow, gearing up for that Oklahoma State game here at Folsom Field.